Good morning, sports fans. Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and going to showcase some recent tweaks to Glory Days college football, which will be our next release to join Glory Days boxing, and that will be released following the 2021 college football season. So, based on testing at this point, it became apparent that talent factor needed to be instituted into the game a little bit differently to make sure that teams that were truly elite, your Alabamas, your Ohio States, Clemson's, etc., who offensively, statistically wise, were equal of a team, and BYU is a good example in terms of where their rankings were offensively and defensively. To take into account that one, they do have obviously more talent and also played a tougher schedule. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, and then we'll do a little bit of gameplay to showcase how that works. First of all, the game board, the main game board, the field, and I apologize for the quality. Obviously, this is prototype, and I don't have the same quality of printer that the person I use to actually print the formal copies of my game does. So obviously that will be much clearer when the game is released. But this is pretty much what we're going to go with on the football field, or for the main game chart. So previously I had this kind of truncated in increments of 10 yardage, and 10 yards. It was just tough for me even to keep track of. So I basically changed this to be an entire football field. Midfield here designated with the blue square, so it's easy to find. So you could just move yard by yard down the field, and then you're down and distance stuff down here. Reformatted the kickoff and kickoff return charts and their placement on the game board, as well as penalties. And then, of course, interception returns, and new is a fumble return, which previously was not in the earlier prototypes that we're testing for the game. So that's now on the main game field as well. And then again, in the tradition of Glory Days boxing, we'll have some ulcers here scattered across the game board. The other thing I did, the main addition to this, is now the offensive and defensive line control charts. And the reason this has been moved here instead of remaining on the teams page is that you'll see the talent factor, when it does come into play, is going to adjust the offensive and defensive ratings of teams, which will, when a team like BYU, which had a very prolific offense last year, plays a team like Alabama, who is more talented and, again, a tougher schedule, their offense is not going to be as good, so their rating will be reduced. And then the stars for this will actually now be documented on the score sheet here. So you'll fill in here the line control ratings for the two teams. And the way I have it formatted is BYU's run offensively against Alabama's defense, pass against Alabama, Bama against BYU, et cetera, et cetera. And so that way it's a dynamic system where it can change from game to game, which I think will tighten up the gameplay and get some more realistic results. So you'll not have a team like BYU beating Alabama 3 or 4 times out of 10 based strictly on offensive and defensive ratings. Hey, what's up, Matt? And these are the changes I was talking about with the talent factor. So perfect that you're here. You can get a look at them and then comment as well. This will be on the next test files as well for this. So changes to the cards. I put the play calling back on the card from the main game chart and reformatted it so it just flows better. So here you're going to have your play call, and then your run, short pass, long pass, and then all the way down here to ball carrier or pass catcher. And then the big play charts and special teams charts on the bottom of the team card. The changes here, talent factor is listed, and I'll show you Bama. So they've got a talent factor of 2 to 0 for BYU, so that's a +2. So what this means is you will deduct 2 from BYU's offense and 2 from BYU's team defense ratings. So how that plays out is BYU has a run offense of 7. That's going to become a 5 now, and a pass offensive 9, that will become a 7. So instead of using, as example, run offense 7 and the stars that go with that, you'll use a 5, and this will be the information you document on the score sheet for line control. So these ratings are based on talent factor as well and adjusted up and down. BYU's defensive ratings, run and pass, will both be a 6 against Alabama instead of an 8. And the difference there you see is on an 8, you've got 2 3-star line control columns. On a 6, there's only 1, and then 2 stars, 2 1s, and a 0. So that will help kind of balance things out in terms of talent factor for the games. And I think you'll see as we get into this, it makes a little bit or a bigger difference than we previously had under the old system. So we're going to pick this game up in the second quarter. Bama scored on all 3 of their first quarter possessions, 2 TDs and a field goal. BYU punted and scored a touchdown. It is 17-7 going into the second quarter, and BYU is set to receive the kickoff. And Bama, again, their kickoff rating is a D. BYU's kickoff return rating is a C, so here we go. 7s for both, and that's going to go down to the 5-yard line. BYU on the kickoff return is going to be an 11-yard return, so BYU starts their simulated portion of drive on their own 16. No changes to the mechanics on the drive format. So 76, and again, BYU offense is a 10. Now, Bama's, this is another change with the talent factor. Their drive defense normally would be a 10, but talent factor increases that to a 12. So BYU is going to be a -2, roll of 76, and that is going to be a potentially successful drive. And then 18 on the drive chart, and that's going to be 4 plays for 40 yards. So that means they will start at Alabama's 44, and the down and distance situation, a roll of 6. Alabama's defense, again, is a 10. So it's going to be a 2nd down and 12 for BYU, and that's the situation they will start this drive with. So 2nd and 12 on the Alabama 44, and we'll jump into play-by-play mode. All right, Zach Wilson brings the team up, and 3. 2nd down, it is going to be a run play, so trying to catch Alabama napping. Doubles, we do our penalty check. 10 is no penalty. So it's going to be a run play and 3s for both. It's going to be a -1 result on the run chart and a roll of 2, -1, and that is going to be a no gain, as getting stuffed in the hole is ball carrier Lapini Katoa. So that's going to make it 3rd down and 12 now for the Cougars, and they're facing a critical situation. They are down already by 10 points. They need to keep this drive sustained to stay in the game. So 3rd and long, that's going to be a short pass result. Roll of 4 and a 6. BYU is a +1 on that on the short pass, roll of 3. And that is going to be an incompletion and a possible sack. 12 is outside of the sack range, Bama. Or I should say, I'm sorry, BYU is a 1-4 on the 1D20 for a sack. Alabama actually is a -1, so 1-3. Wilson is going to escape, but he throws that into the dirt. The intended receiver on that is going to be Byron Rex, or Isaac Rex. Byron was his dad, who also played at BYU. Tell how long I've been following the Cougars. All right, so it's going to be 4th down now. Also adjusted field goals and extra points, so there'll be no automatic field goals now. 99 will always be a block, and 98 will always be a miss, no matter how good the kicker is. In addition, there is a max, which has been present in the game. BYU's max is 54. So 17 on the 44, this would be a 61-yard field goal. If you want to try over the max, it is -10 for every 1 yard above. This would make this an almost impossible field goal, so obviously BYU is going to punt here. Hey, what's up, Jason? Welcome, my friend. Showcasing the new layout and also the new talent factor and flow of the game, or the team sheets. All right, BYU set to punt, and BYU punting in that high altitude in Pro Bowl. The advantage of that, they are an A. So 7, that is going to be a 45-yard punt, and that is going to whip into the end zone for a touchback. And Bama ball is going to come out to the 20. I'm sorry, 25, and it will be 1st and 10 from there. All right, so Bama so far has been successful in all 3 of their drives. This is their first drive of the second quarter. Bama up 17-7 and 91 on the drive chart, a +2 for the Tide. That's going to be a possible interception, 11. And again, very good taking care of the ball is Mac Jones, so that will not be a pick. We will re-roll for the yardage on the failed turnover, and that is going to be a 26-yard drive up to this point where we jump into play-by-play mode. So 1st down and 10. Crimson Tide at the BYU 49-yard line. All right, we are ready to go. So Bama now. Offense trots onto the field. Mac Jones has had a very solid day. 2 touchdown passes already in this one. And coming out of the gate, it's going to be a running play. So Alabama, a 5. That's going to be no stars against a BYU defense of 2. So going to be a -2. Ball carrier, Najee Harris. And -2, roll of 7. That's going to be a no gain. So Harris is stuffed by the Cougar defense. Moves it to 2nd down and 10. And Bama, that's going to be a short pass call, and bad rolls for Bama on the line control. That's going to be no stars against 2 stars for BYU, so a -2. However, Mac Jones is deadly in the short passing game. Roll of 7 and a -2. He still manages to force that in there for a 6-yard gain, and the recipient on that is going to be Williams. That is his first catch of the day. So 6-yard gain, going to be 3rd down and 4 for the Tide at the BYU 43. And again, I had to do this. I thought the truncated field would be a good idea to kind of reduce the footprint, but it was just too hard for me to keep track. And you shouldn't waste time having to figure out yardage up here. So I like this. I think it'll flow a lot better. And again, easy to pick out where the midfield is with a different color for the 50 there to easily determine what side of the 50-yard line you're on. All right, so 3rd down and 4 and a roll of 2 on the play call. So 3rd and 4, that's going to be actually a run play. So Bama trying to catch BYU napping here. Thinking they'll be expecting pass, and that's going to be 2 stars for Bama against 2 stars for BYU, and that's going to be a 0. Now, Najee Harris, he has a ball carrier adjustment of 1, so this will actually come off the +1 chart. A roll of 0 on the +1, that's going to be a 5-yard gain, and Najee Harris plows ahead for a 1st down. So 5-yard gain down to the BYU 38, 1st and 10 for the Tide, and Harris averaging 5 yards a carry thus far in this one. Mac Jones brings it back up. It's going to be another run play, and this is going to be a -2. Ball carrier on this 15 is going to be Robinson Jr. So -2, roll of 4. That's going to be a 3-yard gain for Robinson. 2nd down and 7 for the Tide from the BYU 35 here in the second quarter, coming up on the midway point. 2nd down, going to be a short pass and no trench stars for Bama and 2 for BYU. So -2 on the short pass, roll of 7. And that is going to be another 6-yard gain. And recipient of that is Devontae Smith. That's his 4th catch in play-by-play mode, and that's going to be another first down for the Tide. So BYU's defense having a tough time stopping Alabama thus far. And Mac Jones so far in play-by-play mode is 6 for 8, again with 2 touchdowns. And potential penalty on the doubles, no penalty. This is going to be first down and a long pass attempt by the Tide. Mac Jones tries to take a shot, go deep, and 3s for both. This is going to be an even result on the long pass chart 5, and that's going to be a 23-yard strike, and the ball carrier on that is going to be 16 is Jalen Waddle. So 23-yard pitch and catch, and that puts it down at the 6-yard line. It's going to be first and goal for the Tide, and they are threatening once again. Brigham Young Cougars in trouble in this one. They are in danger of going down big here in the second quarter. And it's going to be a long pass. So let's talk about this again. I'm going to keep this, and I'll explain the reason why. I know some games would have you default to a short pass if this result came up. The reason I am keeping this, just so my logic is, I guess, out there for everyone. In a situation, and again, I draw a lot of what I'm putting into this game from my 30-plus years coaching high school football. So understanding that as a coach, on this part of the field, 6-yard line, the passing zones are going to be greatly compressed to what you would have out in the middle of the field or in your own territory, right? So you're not going to have, the windows are not going to be as big, and it's going to be tougher to get some completions in there down in the red zone, especially inside the 10, well, mainly inside the 10. So the reason I keep this long pass as an actual result is long passes have less of a chance of completion than short. So I wanted to keep this factor in there to simulate the tighter windows when you're inside the 10-yard line, again, lessening the chance of a completion. So that's why a long pass and you're inside the 10. It will stay a long pass. Obviously, the yardage will probably exceed the distance, or could exceed, here would be 16 yards to the back of the end zone. That's fine. If that is the case, you just consider it a catch within the end zone. So that's why that is going to stay, again, based on the fact that I think it's more realistic because you do have those tighter windows to hit as a quarterback. All right, so we have a 9, again, long pass, 4 for Alabama on the pass chart. That's going to be 2 stars against BYU's 1, so that'll be a +1 on the long pass. +1 on the long pass, a 9, and that's going to be a touchdown strike. And the receiver there is going to be Mechie, and that is his first touchdown catch of the day, 6-yarder for Mac Jones. Jones's 3rd touchdown pass. And Bama now jumps up to a 23-7 lead. We'll roll for the extra point. Up and good. So 24-7, and BYU now we'll get there of the second quarter. Yeah, I like this field a lot better, Jason. I just think it's, again, I had good intentions with the truncated field, but my God, it was a mess to try and follow everything on that. And this just goes so much quicker for me anyway. All right, Bama set to kick off. And again, Bama on the kickoff is a D. Their special teams, especially their kickoff game, isn't as strong as you would suspect. They have a great punt return game, of course, with Devontae Smith back there. All right, here goes the kickoff, and D2 is going to be a touchback, so BYU will take over at the 25 and start their drive there. So Cougars have punted in 2 of their 3 drives. This is their 4th so far. They've got to get something going here. 46 with a -2, and that is barely going to be a successful drive. So roll of 2, and that's going to be 4 plays for 30 yards. Sorry, takes it to the Bama 45. And down and distance situation, 4 against a 10 defense, and it's going to be 3rd and 10 for the Cougars. So right now they already start out in a precarious situation. 3rd and 10 from the Alabama 45. Zach Wilson has got to pull something out of the hat here. Cougars cannot go down anymore. Doubles, that's going to be no penalty, just missed being a defensive penalty there. So an 8 on 3rd and long, that is going to be a long pass. And BYU, it's going to be even. Both teams have 3 stars in that result. So a long pass, even, and a roll of 9. And that is going to be a 26-yard strike. Zach Wilson comes up big, threads the needle on a clutch pass, and that's going to go to Isaac Rex. So the big tight end, a 23-yard catch down to the 22 of Alabama. 1st and 10, and a huge 3rd down conversion for the Cougars here, as Zach Wilson shows why he is about to be the number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft. 1st and 10 for the Cougars, and it's going to be a short pass attempt by Wilson. And that's going to be +1. So +1, roll of 3 on the short pass. And that's actually going to be an incomplete possible sack. And 10. Zach Wilson, 1 to 4. He is sacked, and Alabama with an adjustment of -1. So that's just going to be an incomplete pass. And that's Zach Wilson's 2nd incompletion in play-by-play mode. 2nd down and 10. Wilson brings the Cougars up, and it's going to be yet another short pass as BYU looking to move cautiously against this Bama defense. And this time it's going to be a +2 for Wilson. Roll of 3 +2, that's going to be a 9-yard strike, and that is going to go to Dax Milne. So Milne sets up the Cougars with a 3rd and 1, hauling in a nice pass from Wilson there down to the 13-yard line. So BYU at least in position for a field goal from here. Obviously, they need a touchdown to keep from falling out of completely out of this game. It's going to be a run play. And 5 for BYU on the run. That is going to be no stars. It'll be a -2, which is not good. So -2 and a roll of 9, and that is going to be a stuff, and BYU is going to get stood up in the hole. Ball carrier Algier, and 7 on the stuff chart is going to be -2 yards. So back to the 15 as Algier having a tough time getting going against the Bama defense here. And you hear Duke in the background cursing the Cougars offensive line. All right, from the 15, it's going to be a 32-yard field goal. And again, BYU, great special teams, 0 to 97. This is good. Kick is up, and Jake the Make puts that through, Jake Oldroyd. So BYU cuts the lead to 24 to 10 on their 2nd drive of the quarter. And Bama, this is going to be their final drive of the first half. BYU has 1 more. So BYU sets up to kick off. And C and a D, or C and an E. All right, BYU, that's going to be a touchback. So Bama will start their final drive of the first half on 5. See if BYU can get a stop. They've been unable to slow down the Tide offense at all in this game. And 12, and finally, +2 for the Tide offense. That's going to be a punt, however, their first punt for Alabama in the game. A roll of 2 on the punt play is going to be 4 plays, 10 yards. So Bama's going to be punting from their own 35. And BYU now has a chance down 24 to 10 to cut this to a 1-touchdown lead heading into the half. Here comes a punt by Bama, and Bama is a D. 4D, that is going to be a shank 32-yard punt. So that's down to the BYU 33 where that's going to be fielded, and BYU on the return. Also a D on the return, roll of 8, and that is going to be no return. So BYU takes over. 1st and 10 on their own 33-yard line. And let's see if they can engineer a successful drive. -2, it needs to be 41 or better. And 92, that's not good though. That's a potential interception and a 2. So Zach Wilson, that is within the interception range. Alabama's modifier is a -1, so that makes it 1-3. 2 is going to be a pick. And we will get the yardage on that, 17. So we'll have a 4-play, 35-yard drive ending in an interception, and that is going to be the half. So Zach Wilson gets it down to the Alabama 32 and throws an interception to end the half. So we go into halftime with Alabama holding a 24-10 lead over the Cougars. And yeah, I think I'm liking, hey, what's up, Al? So I'm liking, Al, what do you think about the new field design too, since you're here as well, since you also had the old truncated one? All right, so I'm liking the way the talent factor in my testing so far has played out. Again, BYU is a potent offense. You know, Bama's not going to shut them out. They're going to get their yards still, and they're going to score, but it's going to be tougher for BYU to stop them, and BYU's not going to cut through them like they did the G5 teams that they played on their 2020 schedule, despite the fact that, quite honestly, last year's BYU's offense is as good as it's been since probably, I would say 2006, 2009, that time period. Both they had good offenses in 2006 with John Beck at quarterback, in 2009 with Max Hall, and last year was definitely the best offense they've had since that time period. So we're going to go into the awesome. Thanks, Al. So we're going to go into the second half, third quarter, and Alabama took the opening kickoff, so BYU will receive the second half kickoff. And again, it's 24-10, Crimson tied up. And let's see what adjustments Kalani Sitake made for the Cougars at halftime, going up against the master Nick Saban. All right, Alabama kicking off and D9. That's going to go down to the 10-yard line, so it's going to be a potential for a good starting field position for BYU. 1 on the kickoff return is a C. We go to the team big play chart. Not a lot of huge kickoff returns for the Cougars there. 2 17-yard returns, so that's going to start at the 27. All right, 27 for the Cougars, and we will roll their simulated drive portion now. Roll of 33 -2. Unfortunately for the Cougars, that is going to be a punt. So they have a 5-play, 19-yard drive and just unable to get out of their own way against the Crimson Tide. That's their third punt of the ball game. So 19 yards, that's going to take it up to the 45, and BYU is going to punt from there. And again, BYU with an A on the punt. And we have a potential block. It's going to be 34 yards. And a return for Bama would be a fair catch. So let's roll for the block. And again, 99, no block. So 34 yards. It's going to be 79, which puts it at the 21-yard line. There we go. All right, and down a distance situation of a 6. And again, BYU has a 10 defense. So it's going to be 2nd and 12 for Alabama. Oh, never mind. Let me re-roll that, sorry. Uh, 17. Let me roll that again. I'll just do the whole drive. 66, that will be a successful drive. And for Bama, 7 plays, 55 yards. So from the 21 down to the 34-yard line. Now we'll do our down and distance situation. Sorry about that. And it is still 2nd and 12. So 2nd and 12 from the BYU 34. Bama, their first drive of the second half. Both teams will get 3 drives in this quarter. All right, Alabama and Mac Jones not playing around. He's going deep, and he's got a favorable result. It's going to be 3 stars against no stars and a roll of 7 on the +3 column. That's going to be a 20-yard strike, and 20-yard strike, that goes to the playmaker, Devontae Smith, and that's his second catch over 20 yards. All right, so Alabama, 1st and 10 now at the BYU 14-yard line. Mac Jones having an excellent day. In the play-by-play mode, only 2 passes have hit the ground for Jones so far. All right, going to be another long pass. So Mac Jones not playing around in 2 and a 3. Not good for the Cougars. Is going to be a +1 and a roll of 9, and that's going to the big play chart. I'm sorry, +1. That's a 23-yard gain, and that is going to be a touchdown strike. So 14-yard touchdown reception to Devontae Smith. He is carving up the Cougars secondary. That is his 2nd touchdown catch of the day, and 4 touchdown passes now for Mac Jones as Alabama makes short work of the BYU defense there. And it is now 31-10. All right, so BYU in world of hurt, their 2nd drive of the half as Alabama gets set to kick it off. All right, 3D on the kickoff, and that's going to go down to the goal line, and BYU on the return. C, roll of 1, going to the team big play chart. And 0 on the kickoff return chart. It's going to be a 22-yard return. So BYU's next drive will start at their own 22. Simulated portion of the drive, and roll of 80. -2, and that is almost a big play chance. Instead, this will be a regular successful drive. And roll of 4 on that. BYU, they definitely need to cash in on this. That's going to be a 4-play 31-yard draw, or 31 yards for the simulated portion of the drive, which puts it at the Alabama 47-yard line, but a 2 on the situation roll is not good against a 10 defense. It's going to be 3rd down and 15 from there. So BYU, another big hill to climb here. All right, now catching up with the chat as BYU ready to jump into play-by-play mode. Man, I like the new field too, and yeah, I was just getting the same way. Like I said, I had good intentions by truncating the field to reduce the footprint, but it just was not working at all. So this is much easier to follow, I think. Hey, what's up, Dave Gardner? Appreciate you checking in from the gym. Getting that iron pressed. And John Wise, welcome. Arnold Hunter as well. Appreciate it. Arnold, weather effects are going to come into play on the event chart. There's going to be a lot of different weather effects on the event chart. So the event chart will be similar to Glory Days boxing. You'll have your regular events and then a range, which will take you to a rare event. Rare events would be things like the Jim Marshall wrong way fumble return for my Minnesota Vikings, I think back in 1970 or 71 when that happened. Things like that. And then probably about a quarter of the results on the regular event chart will have to do with weather. So you could have a torrential downpour, reducing teams' offensive ratings, high winds, visibility issues with fog, like you sometimes would get at Soldier Field with the fog coming in off the Great Lakes, things like that. So yeah, there'll definitely be weather results, and again, just incorporated into events versus the regular game piece. All right, 3rd and 15, and BYU needs to make something happen here. Zach Wilson. I'm pretty sure this is going to be I was hoping it would be a long pass. Instead, it looks like it is going to be a short pass. And a roll of 6 for the Cougars on the line control. That's going to be a -1 with Alabama's result. So short pass -1, roll of 8. And that's actually going to be a 14-yard gain. So that's going to set up a 4th and 1 for the Cougars. Down to the Bama 33. BYU's got to go for it at this point in time. There is absolutely no doubt about that. And that ball was thrown to Lopini Katoa out of the backfield. All right, so Zach Wilson and the Cougars facing a crucial 4th and 1. And remember, if it's a run play, Alabama is going to get a bonus. And Zach Wilson, the Riverboat Gambler, 9. This is going to be a long pass attempt on 4th and 1 of all things. You're kidding me. All right, so roll of 4, that's 1 star. Alabama, no stars. So a +1 for the Cougars. Roll of 2 on the long pass chart. And roll of 2, that's going to be potential sack 14. He's good. Instead, that's going to be a 22-yard strike. So Zach Wilson and BYU catch Alabama off guard. 4th and 1, play action, 22-yard strike. 1st and 10 down to the Alabama 11-yard line. And that 22-yard strike went to Gunnar Romney, and that's his first play-by-play catch of the game, and it is a huge one. All right, so BYU in great shape, and they definitely needed to get on the board this drive. They're already down by 21 points, so here they come. It's going to be a run play, and run play 1 star. It's going to be a -2. Ball carrier is Katoa, so -2 on the run play, roll of 7. Excuse me, and -2. That's actually going to be one of the few good results on the negative side, a 6-yard gain for Katoa. And that takes it down to the 5. Going to be 2nd down and 4 for the Cougars. So Katoa has been a little bit more effective against Bama than Tyler Algier has today. Possible penalty. BYU 1-6 on penalty, so they dodge a bullet there. And 7 is going to be a short pass attempt. So 4 for both, and that is going to be a -1 result on the short pass chart. A roll of 1. That's going to be a 7-yard gain. Touchdown! Zach Wilson threads the needle there in tight coverage, and that goes to Neil Pau'u. And BYU, I wouldn't say they're back in the game yet, but they definitely needed a score on this drive. So we'll do the extra point. And 79, that is going to be good. All right, touchdown. So Brigham Young now, it is 17-31 back in this game, at least a little bit, as Alabama now comes out for their second possession of the second half. Problem is BYU has not been able to stop Alabama so far. Bama in their previous 6 drives has 4 touchdowns, a field goal, and only a single punt. So BYU kicking it off. All right, kickoff result of C and a 9. That goes down to the 10-yard line in Alabama. Again, not a very good kickoff for a return team, surprisingly enough. They are only an E there. So 9 on an E, we go to the team big play chart. And for kickoff return for Bama, 0 and 0. That's going to be 16 yards. So Bama's going to start at their own 26 for the simulated portion of the drive. See if BYU's defense can rise up after that touchdown drive by the offense and get something done here. 71, absolutely not. Bama's going to have another potential scoring drive in the works. And 11, that's going to be a 5-play, 32-yard simulated portion of the drive. So 32-58, that takes it down to the BYU 42. And down and distance situation is a 6. Going to be 2nd down and 12 for the Tide. 2nd down and 12 from the BYU 42. Let's see if Mac Jones can keep the momentum going. Brings the Tide up to the line, and it is going to be a run play. And a roll of 2. That's going to be 2 star for Al -1 actually, as BYU's defense is set up and prepared for that to be a 3-yard gain. And 13, ball carrier on that's going to be Robinson. So 3rd down and 9 now, and this is another big defensive opportunity for BYU. 3rd and long. And 3rd and long, Alabama shockingly goes with the run call there. And it's going to be a possible penalty. And 20, actually, BYU is going to bail them out. They were in a good position to stop them and get the ball back. Instead, 20 is a defensive penalty. And let's see what it is. 10 is going to be offsides. So 5 yards there, and that's going to now make it a 3rd and 4 for the Tide, and that's a much more favorable down and distance situation for this offense. So the playbook is pretty much open. Mac Jones brings it up, and that is going to be he's going to take a shot, another long pass, and Mac Jones has been airing it out today in this one so far. 5, that's going to be 1 star against 1 star, so even result on the long pass chart, roll of 8. And it's going to be a 19-yard gain, and 19-yard gain, the recipient of that is Billingsley, his first catch of the game. So BYU, they can't get out of their own way. They were in a great situation to get the ball back and maybe cut it to a 1-touchdown game, and instead, Bama, 1st and 10 at the Brigham Young 15, and it looks like they're heading in for pay dirt again. No, that you are probably right 99 out of 100 times, Robert, and that is holding up very much. And that's what I talked about at the beginning of the video, how I tweak the talent factor ratings to ensure that upsets of this magnitude are pretty much few and far between. And obviously Bama now up leading the Cougars 31-17 and threatening to score again. So definitely not a situation where BYU is in a position to win this game. And again, they would move the ball some on Alabama, but yeah, it's not a game they're going to win. John Wise, their page for each team. Yeah. So each team, this actually is an actual simulation of the team cards, John. So each team will have a team card like this. And then some of the results from special teams and penalties will come off the game board, interception, fumble returns, et cetera, et cetera. And then what you hear me talking about in the simulated portion of the drive comes off this drive chart. And the drive chart is determined by adjusted the difference between the team offense and defensive rating, either positive or negative. And that's the opportunity you have to have either a punt or a successful drive, big play, and then turnovers can come into play as well as events on that part of it. So that's kind of how the charts all go together. Then when you get past the simulated portion, get into play-by-play, you utilize the individual team cards. And Robert, one thing I look at when I grade college teams every year is I look at the conferences and start from there. For instance, Sun Belt. Yeah, and I've got a I agree. Coastal Carolina would have been crushed by Bama. And the way I do that is I take into it, I've got a formula that I use, Robert, when I come up with the talent factor ratings to make sure that teams that fare well statistically but don't play as brutal a schedule are adjusted when they play a team like Bama, who fared well statistically and paid a top 15 schedule. So I've got a ratings formula where I take into account final ranking and also strength of schedule for the teams, and that determines talent factor, which adjusts the opponent's offensive and defensive ratings. So that's how all that ties together to make sure we don't get any ridiculous Coastal Carolina beating Alabama by 2 touchdowns, et cetera. And you are absolutely welcome, John. Yeah, it's going to be FBS schools only, so all 130 FBS teams will be included in the game. All right, so Bama now, 1st and 10 from the Brigham Young 15, and BYU needs a big play, and there's that long pass result again. 4, it's going to be another defensive penalty, though. We'll play out the result. I should have done this. Well, the last penalty, Bama was not going to decline the penalty. So we'll play out the result and come back and apply the defensive penalty if Bama elects to do that. So it's going to be a long pass roll to 4, and it's going to be a +1 for Bama. +1 for Bama on the long pass chart. Roll of 5 is going to be a 20-yard strike, and that's going to be a touchdown. The defensive penalty, 11, would have been offsides, and they're definitely going to decline that. It's going to be a 15-yard strike, and crap. Let's see who the recipient of that was. I should have checked that first. 8 on the long pass, and that's going to be to who else? Devontae Smith, 15-yard touchdown reception, and he is shredding BYU today. Mac Jones, his 5th touchdown pass of the game. Extra point is up and good, and Alabama increases their lead to 38-17. BYU getting ready to start their final possession of the third quarter. Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, there's still some things I want to factor in and iron out, and that's just going to be kind of played out by testing, Matt. But I think definitely on the right track at this point for sure. Liking the results I'm getting with these tweaks here I'm testing thus far. All right, here we go. BYU kicking off. I'm receiving the kickoff, I should say. All right, kickoff is an 8 in the D column. That's going to go down to the 10-yard line. BYU return number of 9. That's going to go to their team big play chart. And 9 on that. It's going to be a 23-yard return and a possible fumble, for God's sake. It can't get any worse for BYU. So we'll roll for the fumble at the 33-yard line. Again, BYU's fumble rating is they did take care of the ball. That is one thing they did well. It's only a 1-4. Alabama's adjustment is a +2. So 1-6. Ball is on the ground, and BYU able to scramble and get back on top of it. That would have been an absolute backbreaker. So they will start their next drive on their own 33. So we step into the simulated portion of the drive. 62 and -2. BYU is going to have a successful drive. 8 on the 1D20. And that's going to be a 6-play, 50-yard drive. So a nice drive for the Cougars. It's going to take them down all the way to the Bama 17, down and distance situation 5. And it's going to be 3rd down and 8 from there. So 3rd down and 8 from the 17 as we jump into play-by-play mode. Zach Wilson again. Vanderbilt didn't win a game. Vandy would beat pretty much. Yeah, they beat a lot of them. I mean, let's not sleep. There are some good teams in the G5 conferences now for sure. I would recommend when creating a season to include all 130 FBS teams will be included, Robert. That's definitely already a decision. I'm probably not going to do FCS teams. If I do, it will be a very generic free chart. I'm not going to print team cards for those. Again, I'm looking at price point of the game there, but I would probably create a generic FCS team, again, from each region of the country. So, or maybe 2 from each region, just break the country up into 4 regions and do 8 FBS generic teams, a good and a bad. We'll see. Yeah, I'm trying to keep. That's the reason these cards have kind of the design has changed as well. I mean, I know I think it's Wonelli football. They charge, I think, and if Jason's still here, he can correct me. I believe it's $50 for a set of 4 teams or 6 teams. I really want to keep the price point of this game for all 130 teams in the $50 to $60 range, somewhere in there, definitely no higher than 60. So, I want to make it's kind of a balance. I want to have a good price point, offer a lot, and also I need to keep my costs down. So, I don't, again, I don't make big money off these games. I make a little and cover my printing costs and whatnot. So that's the hope there ultimately, is good game, a lot of teams, decent price point for everyone. So, all right, so we'll jump in. Zach Wilson now facing a 3rd and 8. And again, another crucial situation on the field. It's going to be a long pass. And BYU, that's going to be 2 stars against 3 stars in the line control. So a -1 on the long pass. 16-yard gain. Zach Wilson, the Zach attack coming through. And that's going to get it down to the 1-yard line. And the recipient of that fine pass is going to be Dax Milne. Milne, Wilson's favorite receiver in the 2020 season. And he shows you why here. 16-yard strike, 1st and goal from the 1. And BYU, again, they're still chasing points, but I guess they are still in the game. They just need to get a stop against the Tide. But both teams very high-powered offenses. So BYU, it's going to be a run play. And 5 on the roll is going to be no stars against a 2-star defense. So -2, roll of 2 on the run chart. And fighting his way into the end zone is Lapini Katoa, and touchdown for the Cougars as they continue to put up a fight, and extra point's going to be good. So that makes the score 24-38 as Alabama, we're coming to the end of the 3rd quarter. This has been a very high-scoring affair. BYU struggled in the first half, but they've made some nice halftime adjustments, and they're matching the Tide here. However, the deficit is an uphill battle. And kickoff result for BYU, 4. That's going to be down to the goal line. Alabama on the return, E. Roll of 5. That's only going to be a 10-yard return. So BYU, another good opportunity, but again, they have not been successful. Alabama. So Alabama will start their drive from the 10-yard line. See if BYU can get a stop and make this interesting. Hey, John Wise, thank you for stepping in, my friend, and checking it out. Have a great day. So Bama, 59 and a +2, and 59 +2 is going to be yet another potential scoring drive. This will be a simulated drive portion, 3 plays, 32 yards. BYU has got to get a stop here. They only forced Alabama to punt 1 time in this game. Roll of 9 is going to be a situation of 2nd down and 8. All right, so Bama. Again, trying to put the dagger in. It's going to be tough for BYU to pull back here. And again, Mac Jones going deep. It's going to be a long pass and a roll of 4. It's going to be a +1 result, 9 on the long pass. It's going to be a 23-yard gain. And to who else? Devontae Smith. He is killing the Cougars in this one. That's his 8th catch in play-by-play mode alone. I haven't even done the simulated drive stats, of course. So 23-yard gain, and that's going to go 65. So that will go down to the BYU 35-yard line, 1st and 10. And once again, Mac Jones and this Tide offense, unstoppable. BYU has only forced a single punt today. It's going to be a run play. We'll see if Najee Harris can get in here. However, he's not going to be the ball carrier. It's going to be a run play, and ball carrier will be Sanders. So roll of 5 for Alabama on the run chart. It's going to be no stars against 2 stars on the defense, -2 for Sanders, and a roll of 7. And it's going to be no gains. So BYU stuff Sanders there. That's going to make it 2nd and 10, and that's not necessarily a good thing because that just means Mac Jones is probably going to throw the ball. Is there a reason you don't want to use a football field with markers instead of numbers? What do you mean by markers, Robert? Like the hash marks and whatnot? But basically, the reason for this design is I wanted to just have something that kind of flowed in order. And again, going yard by yard, I think makes it easier to follow. Doing on the footprint that I need to print the game board on, I'd either have to have like an 11 by 17 sheet, which would not fit in the box. I could do a folding cardboard football field, But again, that would drive the price point up, because doing one of those would probably be about, for my preliminary looks, because I looked at doing that for Glory Days Boxing, you're looking at about $14 just for production cost for the field itself, which of course drives the price point up. So main reason is ease of use, and price point was the reason I decided to do that. And potentially, I mean, the tokens too. I'm going to look at tokens and get a football token and first down indicator. Right now, obviously, I'm doing it off of this, but that's other things I'll look at as I move along. Again, it just really, everything comes down to quality of product versus affordability. And I'd rather have something like this on a game that plays statistically well and gives you a good football experience versus doing a lot of pricey, nice stuff in terms of charts and fields and whatnot. And again, price the game up to where it's, now $70, $80 or more. So that's kind of my logic there. And again, I'm not done looking at all these things, but I just, again, the field, I looked at the APA football field. I think it's a little bit bigger, but some games, because you're going by hash marks, it's really hard to follow, my personal opinion. So that's the reasoning behind that. So second down and 10, and it's going to be another run play for the Tide. And 0-0, no stars, and the ball carrier here, 14. That's going to be Robinson Jr. and no adjustment. So this is going to come off the 0 column, and a roll of 2 on the 0 column. That's actually going to be a 7-yard gain. So I'm sorry, Robinson Jr. 7-yard gain. So he sets the Tide up in a great situation, third down and 3. So once again, the entire playbook open. Yeah, and you could do that too. And I think ultimately, Matt, I'm just going to, if someone wants to pick up a 1D4 and do that to keep down, I think at this point I'm going to stick more than likely, I'd say 90% plus with this design. And if you want to get, a 1D4 and use that for your down marker, that's definitely going to be an option as well. And again, tokens also are cheaper than dice from the game supplier that I use, at least anyway. All right, so here we go. It's going to be third down and 3, and third and 3, roll of 4 is going to be a short pass. And again, Bama is lethal on the short pass. So 4 and 3, that is going to be a -1 for Mac Jones, and that really doesn't matter with Bama because potential sack here though. So 1-6 on the sack. And BYU, that would have normally been a sack, but BYU was terrible at forcing sacks last year. They are a -2, so that's going to be, again, Mac Jones slips out of the tackle, gets the pass away, and it is going to end up being a 10-yard gain. And 10-yard gain on the short pass. Once again, hauling that in is going to be Mechie. Mechie's had a reasonably good day as well, so that's going to take it down to the 18, first and 10 for the Tide. As the third quarter is in its waning moments, Mac Jones brings the team up, and Mac Jones, again, it's going to be a long pass. So 4 and 2, that is going to be even Steven on the 0 chart, roll of 5, and that's going to be a touchdown strike, and that's going to go again, his 4th touchdown catch of the day, 18 yards out. Devontae Smith, BYU, does not know what to do with him. That is 6 touchdown passes for Mac Jones. And BYU cannot play defense against Alabama. As a kick is good, that makes it 45-17. I'm sorry, 45-24. And that brings the third quarter to a close. So Alabama, in that third quarter, scored 21 points. BYU scored 14. As we head into the final quarter, Alabama holding a huge 21-point lead over the Cougars. And we'll go ahead and play out the final quarter, get a full game in here. So BYU now looking to find their defense. Offense have adjusted well in the second half. They scored 10 points in the first half, then came out and got 14 in the third quarter. So that part is fixed, at least, as Alabama set to kick it off. That's going to be a touchback. So Cougars take over from their own 25, simulated portion of the drive. 41 or more, and 81 BYU. That is going to be a big play two. So big play two. So the way that works on the drive chart is BYU. So big play two, either a pass or a run. So you roll first for the call using the black die under the first down category, and the white die will be the big play result, and the 1d20 will be who it goes to. All right, so 8, that's going to be a long pass for the Cougars, and 8 on the big play 2 chart, big play pass 2 chart is 52 yards, so our first big strike of the game, and that goes to Dax Milne. Who else for BYU? So Zach Wilson, a 52-yard strike. From the 25, and that is going to be 77, the Alabama 23-yard line. All right, 23-yard line, and on a big play result, it is automatically a 1st and 10. All right, here we go. BYU and possible penalty on the doubles roll. There is no penalty on the 16. So BYU 1st and 10, that's going to be a short pass play and rolls of 3 for both. And it's going to be an even Steven result on the 0 column short pass roll of 5, and that is going to be an incomplete pass. So 2nd down and 10. Second down at 10, going to be another short pass result, and BYU. Again, it's going to be an even result, and a roll of 2 this time on the short pass. That's going to be a 6-yard gain, so it's going to be 3rd and 4. Down to the 17-yard line, and the recipient of that is Zach Wilson. That is his 9th completion in play-by-play mode, and 18, the recipient of that short pass is going to be Mason Wake, the tight end. His first catch of the ball game. So 3rd down and 4. And 3rd down and 4, that's going to be a run play. Probably not a wise call for the Cougars, but it is what it is. And that's going to be, actually their run game is pretty stout. That will be an even result. And roll of 5, that's going to be a 7-yard gain for Algier. And that is going to be a potential fumble. So that'll get it down to the 10, and that would be a 1st down either way. Let's roll on the fumble now, though. And again, Alabama's adjustment is a +2. BYU's fumble rating is 4. So 1 to 6, and BYU recovers again. They dodge another bullet. That's the longest run of the game for Tyler Algier. He's been bottled up by this Alabama defense, averaged over 7 yards a carry in the 2020 season. All right, so 1st and 10 for the Cougs. And we're going to have another short pass result, and short pass result is going to be a -1 for Zach Wilson, and that's going to be an incomplete pass. As that ball was intended for Algier out of the backfield, 2nd down and 10 from the 10, or 2nd goal from the 10. And just missed a defensive penalty there. So 3 and 3, that's going to be a run play. And that will be a -1 result, -1 and a roll of 6. That's going to be a, and ball carrier on that is going to be Zach Wilson. So his first carry of the game, and that's good it was not a 0, or that would have put Zach Wilson -2 on his result. So we've got a 3rd down and 7, another big play for BYU, 3rd and goal from the 7. Zach Wilson needs to come up with something big. And here's the result, 5 on 3rd and 7. That is going to be a short pass, and it's going to be at a disadvantage of -1. So short pass -1, roll of 8, 14-yard strike, and Zach Wilson again comes through and finds Gunnar Romney for an 8-yard touchdown. So BYU hanging with Alabama here. That's Zach Wilson's 3rd touchdown pass of the day. Unfortunately, their defense still can't get a stop as the extra point is good, and that makes the score Alabama 45 at BYU 31 here in the 4th quarter. As we step in for the kickoff. And Saban has not got to be upset with Alabama's defense here in the 2nd quarter as BYU tees it up. And roll of 6, that's going to be at the goal line. And Alabama on a roll of 5. It's going to take that out to the 10. So Bama, once again with the long field, that has not been a problem for them, though. BYU would really or very much love to force a punt here. 26 and +2, and they do. They force a punt. So BYU defense finally steps up for the 2nd time, and that's going to be a total of plays and only 12 yards for Bama, and they're going to have to punt it. So punting from their own 22, and BYU, let's see if they can take advantage of this, as Alabama's punt game is a D. Roll of 0, and that is going to be a shank, a 25-yard punt. And for BYU, 9D goes to the team big play chart. And 7 on the punt return. That's going to be a 4-yard return. All right, so 25 takes to the 47, and Alabama, or it's in Alabama territory, I should say. So at the 43, BYU is going to start their simulated drive from the Bama 43. So this is going to bode well for the Cougars as they look to get back in this game, make it a 1-score game if possible. 61, they are going to have a successful drive, and 15. 4 plays, 33 yards, so they are down to the 10-yard line. A down and distance situation is going to be 3rd and 3 from the 10. So Brigham Young now in a ideal situation, 3rd and 3. 3rd and 3 from the 10. Zach Wilson brings the team up. And again, we will have that adjustment if this is a run play. And Wilson, out of his mind, they call a long pass here as well. And actually, going to be a short pass. No, it is long pass. My apologies. All right, so 3 and a 5. It's going to be a +1 long pass, roll of 9. And can BYU get back into this? And that's going to be incomplete. Unbelievable. All right, so Zach Wilson misses a golden opportunity there. 4th and 3 from the 10-yard line. It is a 2-possession game. BYU down 14. They only have 1 possession left after this, so they're going to have to go for it. So 4th and 3, this is the ball game, guys, for all intents and purposes. And 4th and 3, that's going to be a short pass, and an unfavorable roll is going to be -3 for the Cougars. So -3 on the short pass, roll of 3, and that's going to be incomplete. And Alabama's defense has stood up and made a stand on the 10. The Tide forced a turnover on downs, and they take over on their own 10, and they can run out the clock here. Each team will have 1 drive left after this. And 17, Bama, though, they're going to have to punt again. So BYU's defense now stepping up. It's going to be a 4-play, 10-yard drive. So Bama is going to punt from their own 20. And third time in the game, BYU's forced to punt. So BYU is not going to have a chance to win this game, but they can make it interesting. Here in the waning moments of the fourth quarter, and Bama steps up to punt D. Roll of 5 on the punt chart, and 5D is going to be a 42-yard punt. So 62, that's going to be fielded by BYU at their own 38. And the return on that, a 5. All right, 5D, that's going to be a fair catch. So BYU starts on their own 38, their final drive of the ball game. Unless they score and stop Alabama, then they can force an onside kick. All right, but the drive, 58 minus 2, that's going to be a potential successful drive once again for the Cougars. 4 plays, 30 yards. And 68, it's going to take it to the Bama 32. Down and distance situation 9 is going to be second down and 8. So let's see if Zach Wilson can maybe engineer a 1981 Holiday Bowl miracle type comeback, as it's going to be a run play to start the drive and not very good. That's going to be a -3, roll of 2. And that's actually going to be a 2-yard gain. So fighting forward for a couple of yards is Algier. Again, he's had a very tough day against the Alabama defense. So that's going to bring up a 3rd and 6 from the 30, and BYU will definitely have to go for it if they don't convert here. And here is your roll, 3rd and 6, and they're going to try and catch Alabama off guard with a draw play. So that's going to be a +1 and +1 roll of 9, and that's going to be an 11-yard gain. So the Cougars continue to make it interesting. 1st and 10 down to the 19-yard line. And the ball carrier on that in is Fanoa. His first carry of the game, and it is a big one, as Alabama thought he was in for pass pro. 1st and 10 now. BYU down by 2 touchdowns in the waning moments of this game. Zach Wilson, it's going to be a long pass call and not a good result. That's going to be a -3, roll of 8 on the long pass. And incomplete possible sack, and that would have been a 3. So BYU's sack is 1-4, and Alabama's adjustment is a -1, and that is indeed going to be a sack, and that's not what the Cougars needed. 2D6 determines a sack result. That is going to be a result of -6. So 2nd down and 16 from the 24-yard line for the Cougars now, as Alabama's line breaks through. 2nd down and 16, and BYU is going to call another draw play. Probably going to the well one too many times here, and 3 and a 2. That's going to be a -2, result 0, and a 1-yard gain for Katoa. So bad call there by the coaches, brings up 3rd and 15. This might be the ball game here, as Zach Wilson comes up 3rd down and long, and he's going to call a short pass. Short pass +1, result roll of 6, and that's going to be an 8-yard gain to Milne. And he's been Zach Wilson's favorite receiver in this one. It's going to take it down to the 15, but it is going to be 4th and 7, and this will be it. BYU going forward on 4th down by 2 touchdowns. Last drive of the game for them. 4th and 7, and it is going to be a short pass result, or short pass call, and 3 and 1. So short pass 3-1. It's going to be -1, roll of 0. And that's going to be a 10-yard gain, and that will indeed be a 1st down, 1st and goal from the 5 now. So BYU not going away yet, though it's still an uphill battle, and the completion is to Pau. Alabama's defense does not want to risk an onside kick here. So 6 and a 5, and it is going to be a run call. So that's going to be -1, and the ball carrier there is going to be Zach Wilson. And again, the -1 saved him, or the result would have been worse if he would have rolled in the 0 column. Roll of 6, and that's going to be a 4-yard run for Zach Wilson. Down to the 1, 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line. BYU looking to punch it in, and it's going to be a short pass, play action pass on 2nd down and 1. And that's going to catch Alabama off balance, as it'll be a +2 result roll of 8, and that's going to be a 1-yard touchdown pass, and the receiver on that will be Isaac Rex. So BYU pulls within a score, and they're going to have to try an onside kick and make the extra point here, obviously. And extra point is good. So 38-45, and BYU is going to tee up an onside kick. Otherwise, Alabama will just be able to run out the clock. Onside kick needs to be 0-18. Ball is down, and Bama recovers, and that's going to be the ball game, folks. So BYU made it interesting in the second or the fourth quarter, and actually kept Alabama out of the end zone. So your final score is Alabama 45, BYU 38. And again, we will get back with more testing of this game, and I'm going to be doing the revised team sheets for the rest of the test teams. So thoughts on this game. I still might look at doing a little bit more of the talent factor. Obviously, like I said, I know BYU would have some success moving the ball. Are they going to beat Alabama? No, not likely at all. It would be a once-in-a-decade upset if they did. But with this, it started out basically as I thought it would. Alabama led, remember, 24-10 at the half, and BYU outscored them 28-21 in the second half. And it really comes down to, simulated drive rolls. So Bama at a +2 was going to have a successful drive or big play from 27-83. BYU was going to have a successful drive or big play from 41-82. So there's a fairly good percentage in Alabama's favor there, but it turned out that each team ended up with 3 punts throughout the game. And the big difference was BYU also, Zach Wilson threw an interception at the end of the first half. So that really was the deciding factor. Apart from that, both teams successful in all but 3 drives. So we'll have more to come on this as we continue development and testing. I want to thank everyone for stopping in. Good friend, Steeler fan 1933, Matt, thank you very much. Al, Red Sox fan, and RJL 518. Check out those great YouTube channels. A lot of good stuff going on there. RJL on an inside pitch kick, and Al does a little bit of everything and does it all well. John Wise, thanks for stopping by. And make sure I've got everybody. And Arnold Hunter, as always, a pleasure, my friend. Dave Gardner, appreciate it. And, of course, Jason from Flash Sports. Check out that channel as well. He's got a lot of different football stuff going on. Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming. You guys, hope you all have a great Saturday. We'll talk to you later.